hottest hip-hop and R&B on WTMHradio.com. Now watch this.
What's up, America? I'm feeling so good right now. Birthday cake. That's right. It's happening on Friday. Tongue goes in first Fridays. That's what it is. That's right. This tongue goes in first. Oh, I'm so hot right now. Gina got me all hot and everything. You know, you need to change that dress, man. She got me all hot and everything. And man, Jennifer over there laughing. You know, America, I'm just saying, you know, America, yes, I am hitting on Dr. Gina. Because we're hitting on her like right now. It's happening because we can't. Because you wish
you can.
You know, because I want to be part of the family. You know, so when like Lacaya goes in, I'm like, yo, what's going on, Lacaya? I'm just here with my girlfriend, Dr. Gina. Goes and I'm just sitting up here. You got a boyfriend? Because he could be
engaged.
You engaged? So we just so he has her like Saturday through Thursday and Friday until like 8. 8 to 10, then she's all mine. Shout out to you, player, but she's not for you, but she's engaged. So, America, it's just, you ain't got but an hour left to spend some time. Less than an hour, like what, 40 minutes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fellas, so y'all better look good. Y'all better look hard at this video. Y'all better do it on rewind or whatever, so you can spend time with Dr. Gina Nichols. Because her fiance gonna be like, "What the hell?" And his voice gonna go just up like that. Because that's how we do as men. When we get pissed about stuff, notice our voices go up. When women get pissed, y'all voices go down. Yeah. Y'all get bass in your voice and all that other stuff. You be like, when it's a good day, you walk in, you be like, what's going on, babe? Hey, babe, how you doing? But you got caught doing something that you weren't supposed to do, or you didn't do something that you weren't supposed to do. Hey, babe, how you doing? What's up? Like, damn.
Are you still?
I forgot to take out the trash. And she found out.
I can't.
Like,
Are you still having flashbacks from the last time that you got what is that, fist pump or a high five when you walked in?
That happened yesterday.
Again? Wait a minute.
I'm just joking. She's talking about something completely different. But yeah, I got in trouble yesterday. I'm a man. I'm not ashamed to admit I got in trouble yesterday. Yeah, I forgot to say, special stuff. Because women get upset when you don't say special stuff. Like when you on the phone, you better say words like, "Hey, babe," especially if you're doing a photo shoot with like a bunch of women and she calls. You can't be like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a call back." You better throw "babe," "honey," anything in there.
Yeah.
If you're doing a photo shoot with a whole bunch of women.
Yep. Here's
why we're talking about sex as currency exchange. Because my question to you, and I'm going to ask every woman around the room before we get into Dr. Gina's Botox, because she does other stuff. She does Botox. She does eye lipo. Eye lipo? Did I say it right? Eye lipo. She does that. Yep. And she does a whole bunch of other stuff. And she's engaged. I'm going to keep putting that out there now. So all y'all fellas be like, y'all got 39 minutes.
Yeah, that's about it.
Y'all got 39 minutes. So I gotta ask this question. I'm gonna ask it to every woman in the room. Have you ever used sex with your significant other as bargaining tool? You'll be like, if you're not gonna do this, don't even think about touching me tonight. And then have the audacity to wear like one of the sexiest things that you got in the closet or in the drawer or wherever y'all keep y'all lingerie. Where do you keep your lingerie? I'm looking at Jennifer. She's looking at me like, don't ask me. Don't ask me.
She pleading the fifth right now. She ain't even got to say it.
Look, she want to talk about it because she bouncing in a seat. She, like popcorn. She's, So I'm going to ask this question. Have you ever used sex as a bargaining tool in your relationship? Lacaya?
No, I have not.
Ever?
Nope.
Never, ever?
Never, ever.
Okay, sign it over, Jennifer. Have you ever used sex in your relationship as a bargaining tool?
Not that I can remember.
She said, not as she can remember.
Let's get you closer to the microphone. Let's say that again.
I don't remember.
Okay. Is that like pleading the fifth?
Exactly.
You ain't supposed to answer it like that. Now we know you remember. You just gonna say I can't remember. All right, Dr. Gina Nichols, have you ever used sex as a bargaining tool? I need somebody to tell the truth in here. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
I'm not. It's not worth it.
You've never used it. Now, are you saying it's not worth it because you used it and you realized the folly of your young ways and you got older and you be like, look, babe, you pissed me off, but we can still do it. But otherwise, are you just saying I've never done it because you've seen the stupidity of your girlfriends?
No, it's because I've always been in very long-term relationships.
Okay.
So if I was married for 21 years.
Okay.
And I understand the importance of having a healthy relationship. And if I'm upset or if something's going on, not to say that it would be an excuse for him to go and step out on our relationship.
Oh, I'm not talking about long term. Like, wow, that's serious punishment.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that to me is something that is a part of the agreement with our relationship. So that is why I would never use it as a bargaining tool. So
now when you say use it as it's part of the agreement of your relationship, that is something that's really awesome because I talk to people about relationships and now that should be one of the conversations or topics when you're talking about being together. So when you say that's part of the agreement, like what, without giving disclosure about what you and your significant other do, but how do you have that conversation about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in regards to your relationship and sex?
You mean what is okay in the bedroom? Is that what you mean?
Not so much in the bedroom, but if you make me mad, is sex going to be off the table? If you, what is used? How do you have that agreement with sex? Like, are you going to sleep on the couch and you're not going to have sex with me if you piss me off? What are some of the agreements that you have, regardless of what happens? How do you address that sex topic, especially when the emotions are high?
Well, number one, even from mine, and I have to say, I mean, my first marriage and only marriage did end in divorce after 21 years. But I'd have to say that he did teach me a lot about having a good, healthy relationship. I didn't come from a 2-parent home myself.
Okay.
Well, actually, my mother and father ended up divorced or separated after probably about 5-6 years or so. But his parents were married for about 40 years or so.
Yeah.
So he had a really strong foundation when it came to what a marriage should be like.
Right.
And he was always taught that if you were upset, you didn't go to bed upset.
Okay.
You never slept apart. The only time we slept apart was when he was in the service.
Okay.
When he was in Desert Storm. But other than that, we never slept apart. So it was never okay for him to sleep on the couch. Okay. If we were upset, you know what, we're going to talk about it. You can get your tail into bed. I'm going to get my tail into bed and we're going to go to sleep together.
Okay.
So that was always something that we did. And that's something that I've even carried forward today. I don't do that.
Let me high five you, girl. Let me high five you. That's something that's really important. I'm gonna slide it over to Jennifer. Jennifer, same question in your relationships. How do you guys deal with high emotions, things like disagreements, and sex? How do you guys come to an understanding of you're not going to use sex as a bargaining tool? You're not going to use sex to punish me. You're not going to use sex. How do you guys have that conversation?
Well, I'm in agreement with Dr. Gina Nichols.
Okay.
You should talk about it. I mean, I truly believe that there's nothing that's so bad that you have to separate at any given time. Right?
Okay.
You should always be able to sit down and learn to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Because we all going to think differently, we all going to feel differently, but it's okay. We just got to accept one another as we are and move on.
Yeah.
I will say there is one reason why I will take sex off of the table.
Okay.
And that is for cheating.
For cheating.
Now, if you cheat, you cannot have any.
Okay.
You cannot have any. Go back over there.
So now, and since we're talking about long-term relationships, now are you leaving the relationship or?
I'm making a decision. I'm deciding what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm holding back because you know what? What's the problem? What's going on here?
Right.
You
You
know,
should be able to speak to me so we can fix it.
exactly. Let me evaluate what exactly is going on here.
Without the distraction of sex.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. something's not right here, you know. So yeah, for that reason, now I pull sex off.
You pull sex off the table for infidelity.
Infidelity.
I got it. Okay. Same with you, Jennifer.
I'm in agreement with that. I mean, it's first of all, there's too much going on out there to go out there and just get into bed with just anyone. You know, when you come back home to your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you're bringing other things home in that relationship.
Yeah.
So things are worse than they were when you first stepped out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am totally in agreement with Dr. Nichols on that.
Okay.
When it comes to that, yeah, it's time to step back and evaluate what's going on.
Slide it over to Lacaya. So how do you have that conversation?
I can't disagree. Basically, I mean, and I'm sure you guys, we're probably all within the same age group. You can't withhold sex like that. I mean, if you have those infidelities, okay, fine. Like you said, we have to step back and reevaluate. However, I mean, oh no, you can't have no nookie because you didn't wash the dishes when I asked you to, or you didn't throw the clothes into the dryer after I didn't have. No, why?
So do you have those conversations, or are you talking general? Because I want to know, how do you have those conversations?
You know what? The conversation that I have is if there's a problem between us, then we need to sit down and talk about it and discuss it before you even think about stepping out. That's for starters. Number two, no, we're not going to bed mad. I don't care, because I'm going to lay right on your chest and go to sleep and cuddle up. And, you know, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, boom, 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 hey, whatever. But no, I mean, I'm pretty easy breezy with that. No, I'm not withholding, especially when you are lacking, when you live in 2 separate households, when you're dating.
Okay.
No.
And above all, makeup sex is the absolute best.
It is.
Not?
It is.
Makeup sex is the best.
Yes,
it is the best.
Did you just bust out Campbell's on me? Just bust out with a Campbell slogan. That works. All right. So the last question I have, and we're going to slide back into Dr. Gina's all of the projects and all of the expertise that you have. But the last question that I have is, what do you have to say to women who do use sex as punishment, who do use sex as a transaction? Like, if we're gonna have sex with me, then you gotta pay this bill for me, you gotta get my hair done, you gotta do these different things for me.
You're a sugar baby.
You know, so what do you say? What do you say to women who use sex in their relationship as a transaction, as a negotiating tool for the things that they want?
Well, see, I don't know that. Do women really do that? Okay.
Oh yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They do.
Okay. Because I'm the type of person that I do believe that if I'm going to have an interaction with someone, that I do have to get something out of that relationship. Okay. And some people would say that would make me a user. But if you think about it, all of us are using one another at some point in time. Right. Correct. And why would I waste my time in a relationship, any sort of relationship, that I was not benefiting, that was not symbiotic in some form or fashion? Correct?
Right.
Okay. Great. So to say something so simple as in, buy me a pack of cigarettes so you can't have any sex, I mean, that seems so simple and so menial to me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But guess what? If, you know, I mean, and I guess on my level, goodness gracious, maybe it's, you know what, I want to go away to Maldives or something like that for my birthday. If this guy is not willing to front, you know, to do that, then, you know, maybe that's not someone that I should be with, because it's not someone that's able to provide the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to living. Okay. You know, so I wouldn't say that I would. That's just, if it's someone that's not able to provide at a standard of living that I'm accustomed to living, then I'm not going to be in a relationship with them anyway. So it's not going to be a simple transaction of sex.
And that's exactly what I'm looking at. Is there's a difference between when you're in a relationship with somebody and this relationship is not giving me the fulfillment that I need. Mm-hmm. And so you're not able to contribute to the lifestyle that I like. I mean, granted, I can do this stuff by myself, but if I'm going to be with you, I'm expecting us to be able to do this stuff together. And if I can take myself on a cruise, but if we can go on a cruise, you know, hey, let's do it together. If you can't do that, then, you know, maybe this is not the best relationship for both of us. As opposed to, take a cruise with me. If you're gonna pay for my cruise, then I'll have sex with you.
Exactly. there's a problem with that.
See,
And
to me,
that's what
that
people-
to me that seems more like you're doing a sugar baby / prostitution
There we go.
type of deal, because there is no love, because there is no benefit going either way. You're just looking for something, for a means for you to get something out of that person.
And sex becomes sex
And
is
then
literally a
that's
transaction.
And then sex is that transaction. Because oh yeah, you know what? I'll go down on you if you buy me those Louis Vuitton shoes.
Right.
I'll do this if you get me that. That's something totally different. That is
So back
that is not a committed relationship.
So back to the original question. What do you say to women that do that?
See, but as you could see from when I first started answering, I'm not so sure I have any interaction with women that do that first and foremost.
Let's say, because you're talking to women. You're talking to women right now that are listening that do that.
Okay, so women on the air that do that. You know what? I really love to see women that are self-sufficient. Number one.
There we go.
Number one. Now, granted, I did talk about someone being able to send me on a trip to Maldives, or whatever, which is actually quite an expensive trip. That'd be about a $10,000 trip, is what that would be. But that's a trip that I could afford to take myself on, to be honest with you. And I always commend women for having their own and being able to pay their way and getting themselves educated, because having come from, and she'll tell you, and there's been times when I have, not to be too long-winded here, but there's been times that, my mother, she was a young mother, and she had, like I said, my father left her when she had 4 children, and she ended up having another one, getting married again and having another one. And I saw her rely on men for things. Okay. And I swore I would never be that woman. I would never be that woman to have the sugar daddy. She's a beautiful woman. And then I see it around town, and it turns my stomach. My stomach. And that is why I've always fought so hard and tried so hard to make sure that I had my own. And there's something to be said about that woman, God bless the child that has its own, there's something to be said about that woman that has her own, And I mean, I can't even imagine how my life would have turned out if, even my ex, who's an attorney now, he would tell me all the time when I was going through med school, you don't have to do this. He was way back 15, almost 20 years ago. He was a 6-figure guy, and he would say, you don't have to do this. You could just stay home and take care of the kids. And he would tell my grandmother, and she'd just look at him and smile, and she'd come home and she'd say, stay yourself in school and finish up. And then when I tell you, when it came time down to that divorce, he got so daggone ugly.
It happens.
Exactly. And I probably over the last 10 years have gotten maybe $1,200 in child support.
Wow.
So needless to say, you really, really have to think about those things, and you really have to be prepared to do for yourself, do for yourself, and not be relying upon any man. Right. And even a man being reliant upon a female, it can go vice versa.
All right. Slide over, Jennifer. What would you say to those women that are like that use sex as a transaction? What would you say to them?
Well, I'll have to say being self-sufficient is the best way to go. You would just feel good about yourself.
Right.
If you look at yourself and you see that you can accomplish something, that helps you to make better choices. And not only that, but to look at yours. I don't know about anybody else, but me as a woman, I've been married too, and I've been single, raising children on my own, and never one time did I ever use that, nor did any man pay my bills.
Okay.
I've done it on my own, and I taught my girls to do the same thing. I have 4 girls.
Okay.
And they are very strong girls.
You have 4 girls?
Yes, I do. And they believe in taking care of themselves.
Right. All right.
And I think that all women should have that. Because if that man, and I'm speaking on relationships, if that man leave you and you are relying on him, you have nothing. But if you have your own and he leave you, you have it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I can say to women that use sex as a weapon.
Get it for yourself.
Yeah.
Get yourself established for yourself.
And I will interject and say my ex-husband was an amazing provider, was he not?
Yes, he was.
He worked 2 and 3 jobs. And I tell you, the moment I didn't want him anymore, it all stopped.
I think all men are like my ex-husband did the same thing.
too. I think that's really just kind of a human thing. When we get done with somebody,
you're done.
You're
and
done.
So all ties
Shut it all down.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna slide it over to you. Look, I'll answer this, and then we gonna get back in. We get back into interviewing some of this other stuff that we got going on.
I mean, I agree. I definitely agree with the ladies here. I mean, basically, at any given time, any person, male or female, can cut off that money flow. What are you going to do in the end? Because you still got to place food on the table for not only yourself, in some cases, another person, which is that child. In the case of a man, I mean, come on. The Bible says you're supposed to be the provider. But, I mean, don't be enabling. I've watched I came from a line of women where I've never seen any of them really on welfare or asking for anybody else to assist. So it's always made me that much motivated to do and maintain my own.
Okay.
So when I come into the relationship, I want to know, how am I a benefit to you and how are you a benefit to me?
All right. And that's a fair enough question to ask. So let's slide it back into Dr. Gina Nichols. She's got a lot of stuff going on. And so let's talk real quick about eye lipo and Botox. So let's talk about Botox first. Tell us about Botox, and particularly your expertise in what you do with Botox.
Well, Botox, I've been doing Botox for pretty much since about 2005. And what it does is it causes, let's just say, temporary relaxation of the muscles to prevent fine lines.
Okay.
So anti-aging.
Okay.
It's been around a long time. Very safe, very safe. What age can you get Botox? I mean, anywhere from 18 up until 70. I want to say the FDA, 70, 75, it's actually approved.
Okay.
I learned to do it actually because I wanted to do it on myself.
Okay.
So, and then I started offering it for my patients, and I mean, it works out really well. There's so many different things you can do with Botox, though. People come in and they say, well, what can I do with the Botox? Am I a good candidate for Botox? When I talk about cosmetics in the office, I usually have them come in and do a cosmetic visit. And we talk about, and we evaluate their whole face, and we say, okay, what is it that you're looking to do? And some people want to evaluate their neck. They may have fine lines in their neck. They may have loose skin on their neck. They may have enlarged pores. They may have darkening or discoloration, pores underneath their eyes, dilated. It's a whole bunch of, a lot of different things, drooping eyelids. So you talk about the Botox and what to do with that. Initially, when you get it done, it normally lasts about 4 months. But as you get it done on a regular basis, it lasts longer. They've even done biopsies on muscle 15 months out. And there's actually still been blockade on them. So if you get it on a regular basis, the more you get it, the longer it actually lasts.
Okay. So not only are you doing the Botox on the face and on the neck, are you also doing it in any other area, such as like the underarm, or?
You can get it underneath the arm, and that's usually something that you're definitely going to want the insurance company to cover for you. Okay. For hyperhidrosis or sweating, excessive sweating, because it requires a lot of Botox to do it.
Oh, really? Wow.
And Botox is expensive. It can be fairly expensive. And it's priced per unit. And people quite often say, well, how much do I need? It just depends. It depends on the area. For instance, on a forehead, it could be anywhere from 15 units to 45 units, depending on how large your forehead is.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
So Tyra Banks would leave like a 45. Shout out to Tyra. Shout out to Tyra.
You would come up with something like that.
She's a beautiful woman, but she has a big forehead. So, it is one of those things. So let's talk about the stereotypes and the stigmas of Botox. What are those stigmas, and are those stigmas true? I don't know what the stigmas are about Botox. Like, people are fake. When people who get Botox, they're fake, and their face is fake. And, so how do you address that to people who are just really not knowledgeable?
Well, first and foremost, when you first start to get Botox, you can get that frozen look. Okay. And she'll tell you, I'm completely honest about everything that I've done in my office. If I can try it, I've tried it, and I will tell you my experience. Botox, yes, love Botox. I get Botox. Okay, I've been getting Botox probably for about 15 years or so now. But after a while, after you've been getting it for so long, it really doesn't freeze the muscles completely and totally, but it's still working. Okay. So you won't have those lines that remain there in that area. Okay. So when you see people, when they first start to get Botox, some people will overdo it and they'll get too much Botox and they won't have any facial expressions. But honestly, the person that's actually doing this position should really educate them and say, you really don't want that look. You want to be able to have some expression. You don't want to have an expressionless face. So let's just give you this amount of Botox, which will prohibit most of the aging process for you, but you'll still be able to smile and raise your eyebrows and that sort of thing. And people won't be able to just look at you and tell that you've had a lot of Botox placed in your.
So how long does it last? I thought when you get it and your face is like expressionless, I thought it was kind of like maybe for the first day or so.
Like maybe a day or two. Usually?
No, 4 months. 4 months in the beginning. Remember, up to 4 months. But it does gradually wear off. It's not like it'll be at 4 months, boom, you look and then all of a sudden it's gone. So it will gradually, you will regain the use.
Okay.
Right.
So when you first get it and you have like that freezing, like in the forehead where you can't really show emotion, how long does that?
Well, it's going to be gradual. And actually, it doesn't necessarily happen right away either. It can take up to 10 days for Botox to take effect.
Oh, wow. Okay. So even for, I understand it also is used for migraines as well, like severe migraines.
That is true.
Does that also have like that same timeline as well, or is that a little bit different because?
About the same, and it's a lot more Botox that you're also using for the migraines as well.
Okay.
But it will also freeze the forehead as well and help with the lines as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a double.
It is.
It is.
I didn't even know you could use Botox for migraines.
Yes, you can.
So is there some kind of correlation between the muscles and how that affects because the migraines are in the brain? Is it in the brain or is it in your muscle?
Just depends. It just depends. And I mean, the Botox, of course, is just working with the muscle, so it can be affiliated.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the eye lipo. Because I've been trying to work out at the gym, and I was just like, something, I'm gonna go see Dr. Gina Nichols, and might get some eye lipo. Just shoot me. So
kind of a low level laser that we have in the office. Actually, we just brought it on board, and I have been seeing some pretty good results with it. Had some clients that came in and talked about it, saw some reviews about it, so we brought it on board. Tried it myself. We had actually a client because we partner with a gym, and we also partner with a salon in Pickerington as well. Some people, normally we recommend 20 minutes, 3 days a week, and the services it normally costs for 10 services for $250, so 10 procedures.
Okay.
And some people get up and immediately, and it's painless.
Okay.
It's non-invasive. Okay. The applicators themselves, there are several that are applied. I'm not a person that's going to charge you more. Okay. If you decide you want to put it underneath your chin, if you decide you also want to put it on your arms, I'm going to charge you more. If it's one treatment, it's one treatment. I will put it on your abs. I'll put the applicators on your back, because to me, you're paying for time.
Right.
Paying for the areas. Okay. And then it's placed on there, nice quiet room, some peaceful music. If you'd like that, you lay back, and then there's like the ultrasound gel that goes in between you and the applicators, and it stays on there for about 20 minutes. And then many people feel a tightening of the muscles. They feel a different type of feeling, and quite often people get up and you can actually see the change immediately in the muscles on their stomach.
So that is something that it varies from person to person.
It does vary from person to person. That it does.
Okay.
So now what is eye lipo?
So it's just like a low level laser that's applied to the abdomen or underneath the chin, or it can be applied to the arms, just basically for a breakdown of fat. That's what it is. So a non-invasive breakdown of fat.
So with this breakdown of fat, is this something that's just redistributed throughout the body, or is it something
excreted and like feces and things like that?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, some people may see it right away. Now, what is the typical time frame where somebody may start seeing those results?
Well, that's why it's sold in the units of 10.
Okay.
That's exactly what I recommend. I recommend at least getting the units of 10. Okay. And then going from there. We do also combine it. We have a sauna bed that we have in the office as well that we like to combine it with. That works pretty well, and it enhances the weight loss. So these are things that we combine with the weight loss options that we have in the office to help contour. Okay. And then also enhance the weight loss that people get in the office from the medication.